Thank you for watching Where's Wendy? I have a saying that I've repeated to myself and anyone who would listen for as long as I have been traveling. Don't do stupid things in foreign countries. It's simple, it's practical, and it has served me well across more trips than I can count, through more countries than I expected to see in one lifetime. It is the closest thing I have to a traveler's code. I broke it in Pai, Thailand, on a Tuesday, approximately 5 minutes after renting a scooter. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about the journey from Chiang Mai to Pai is famous for exactly one reason: the road. 762 curves between the city and this little mountain town in Mai Hong Son province. 762. I did not count them personally, but I felt every single one. The scenery, for what it's worth, was beautiful. Lush green hills, the road carving through jungles and mountain passes, occasional villages appearing and disappearing around the bends. If you're not prone to car sickness, it is generally one of the more beautiful drives in northern Thailand. And then we arrived in Pai. Pai is small, relaxed, a little bit quirky. It's the kind of place where people come for a few days and end up staying for weeks. There's a walking street that comes alive at night, filled with food, vendors, music, little shops, and people just hanging out. It has this laid-back, slightly bohemian feel. And right away, we loved it. I felt like I'd walked back in time. The energy I grew up around, laid back but alive, and I fit right in. We checked into our boutique hotel, basic but comfortable and very fairly priced, which at this point of the trip was all we needed. We had found our rhythm, good bones, good location, good enough. Before we trash it, something terrible. All right, welcome to your home.
Look at our view.
Yeah, Wes. We looked at all the buffaloes right out there. 2 beds, refrigerator. Look at that, we're so modern. Flat screen TV, air conditioning, fan. Let's see what the bathroom looks like. Oh, step down.
Okay, here's my
All right. We made it to Pai, 762 turns, a bit nauseating, but we have survived.
It's really nice here.
And this is our survival beer. Okay, we got it. That first night we headed straight to Walking Street. And this is where Pai really shines. Food stalls everywhere. Live music, people sitting around, eating, talking, laughing. It's one of those places where you don't need a plan. You just wander, eat a little here, try something there, maybe stop for a drink, and just take it all in. I was happy, generally completely happy. Pai had done to me in one evening that the best travel destinations do. Made me feel like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The next morning I woke up feeling good. Cindy and I made loose plans for the day. Rent scooters, ride out to a waterfall, enjoy the kind of unhurried morning that Pai seemed specifically designed to produce. Simple, easy. What could go wrong? Now, I want to be honest with you about the scooter decision because I think honesty is the only way to tell the story properly. I used to own a motorcycle. I am not someone who looked at a scooter and thought, I don't know how to handle this. I had genuine experience. I felt completely comfortable. This was not recklessness, born of ignorance. The rental shop, however, would not rent to Cindy. She had no experience and they wouldn't clear her, so the plan shifted. I would ride, Cindy would ride behind me as a passenger. Simple, easy. I'd been on that scooter for approximately 5 minutes. We were barely moving. I was just turning around a slow, low-speed maneuver on the street. Cindy got on, and after picking her up somewhere in another turn, something shifted. I think she may have moved her weight. I'm not certain. It doesn't entirely matter. We went down. Now, here is where I need you to understand something. Going down on a scooter at low speed on the street is not in itself a catastrophe. People do it all the time. You get up, you feel foolish, you check for scrapes, you carry on. But I panicked, and instead of just letting the scooter go, I tried to pick it up. And when I grabbed the handlebars, I caught the throttle. The scooter jumped forward. I was holding on. I went down again, hard this time, and the scooter came down on my ankle. Something was wrong as soon as I added the extra weight. And across the street there was a bar, and outside that bar, taken in the morning with their beers, was a group of Australians. They saw what happened, and they came to help. They got me upright, and then one of them said, "We're taking you to the hospital." He put me on the back of his motorcycle, and that man, whose name I never got, he drove me to the couple of blocks to the local hospital. Then one decision, one moment, and suddenly I'm on crutches in a foreign country. The hospital in Pi was rural. I want to be straightforward about that. Limited resources, limited equipment, the kind of facility that is doing the absolute best it can with what it has, which is both admirable, and when you're lying on a table waiting to find out what happened to your ankle, a little anxiety-inducing. They took an x-ray. They only found one break. The doctor gave me discharge instructions. No wait 1 month, some wait second month. $100 total. The damage to the scooter? Another $100. So I lay there processing this information. 1 month non-weight bearing. I was halfway through a Southeast Asia trip and 2 more weeks of plans still ahead. Cindy, to her enormous credit, immediately set about solving the practical problems. She went to find crutches. Now, Pi is a small town. The crutch supply is limited. She went to the first pharmacy, and they had crutches. She bought them, and then brought them to me. Cindy, who is a nurse and therefore technically has the credentials for exactly this situation, then did what Cindy does. She went shopping. I say this with love. I say this as someone who has traveled with Cindy long enough to understand that this is how she processes things. There's nothing more she could do for my ankle. The crutches had been sourced. The hospital had been handled, and the markets of Pi were not going to shop themselves. I took a taxi back to the hotel, alone. Getting at that hotel on my adult-sized crutches with a freshly broken ankle, up the steps and through the door, alone, was one of the more humbling moments of this entire trip. I did it. I got myself up those steps. I got inside. I laid down on the bed. And then I just lay there for a while. And then the next day, Chris arrived. He had gone on a plane in Atlanta to come meet us in Pi, a happy reunion point in the middle of the trip. He landed in Thailand, made his way north to Chiang Mai and then to Pi, and found his mother on crutches with a broken ankle. Then he sat down next to me, and I cannot fully describe what it meant to have him there. My son, who says yes to everything, who packed for Iceland without a coat, who ice climbed glaciers, and jumped off the stratosphere in Las Vegas, and approaches every hard thing with the same open-handed readiness. He was there, and everything felt a little more manageable.
If you've ever had a moment on the road where everything you planned suddenly looked completely different, you know exactly how that hotel room felt. And if you've never had that moment, I hope this video finds you before it does. This is Where's Wendy, and if you're new here, I want you to know this channel is built on one simple belief. Adventure does not have an expiration date. The good days and the hard days both. If this story is hitting you somewhere real, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment below. Tell me about your moment, the time the trip went sideways and you had to figure out what came next. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to hear from you.
It wasn't reckless. It wasn't intentional. It was just one of those moments where you think, oh, I'm fine. And most of the time you are, until you're not. We had 3 more days in Pi. I spent them on crutches, figuring out a new version of this trip in real time. What was still possible, what wasn't, and what this meant for everything that came after. But it could have been so much worse. Cindy wasn't hurt. I didn't hit my head. The fracture didn't seem to be severe at the time, or so I thought. And I was surrounded by incredibly kind people who stepped in to help immediately. That's something I'll never forget. That story, Pi on crutches with Chris, with Cindy, and with the particular kindness that Southeast Asia showed us, is the hardest stretch of this journey. And that is in episode 6. And I'll see you there. Thank you for listening.